Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, good evening here. It is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I'm so glad you decided to pop in on me and our great show tonight. We have actually an amazing show, so I hope you will definitely stick around because we've got a lot to share with you. And if you guys know how we work, with the JMOR Tech Talk Show, we do reels every single day. And then on the Friday or the end of that week, we put a little more meat into those details. So if you're curious, definitely always come to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We are on, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know, we are on series 3, show 17, which means we're a little bit into the third year of the JMOR Tech Talk series. So thank you so much for being here. Let's get right into things, shall we? First thing is this. Google's stance on minimum wage benefits for suppliers. So what is Google doing with canning benefits and the minimum $15 per hour? Like, what are they doing with that? Well, Google mandates basically a $15 an hour predecessor, if you will. But unfortunately, they are what we call scrapping the minimum wage benefits. So Google requires that employers of U.S. vendors and temporary workers provide benefits, including a $15 minimum wage benefit. But Google scraps the minimum wage benefit rules for suppliers and staffing themselves. So yes, Google is changing things around. I think they're changing it around because, to be honest with you, I think they're just being cheap. I think that's really the reason. So we learned not too long ago that it said it would roll back requirements that U.S. suppliers and staffing firms pay their employees at least $15 an hour and provide health insurance and other benefits, a move that could allow the tech giant to avoid bargaining with unions. So I'm not really crazy about this move, and I guess they're just doing it for a CYA. We all know that. So Google is mandating that the suppliers basically provide the $15 an hour benefit. It's requiring that they have health benefits too. So they're requiring an awful lot. But my question is, what they're doing, and Google now requiring suppliers to give benefits to the workers, it's interesting, right? It's like their way of weaseling out of this. And I just don't think it's right, because what Google's trying to do is they're trying to take people off the map so they're not employees. That's really what they're trying to do. I mean, that's like the main thing. But Google cans the minimum wage benefit for suppliers and staffing firms. And so now they're requiring the staffing firms to basically be the one that has to do it. So I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty low. And they're doing it just so they don't get in trouble. That's the only reason Google does it. Google doesn't do things just because, they want to do things. Google's doing this because of pressure they're getting. Okay? It's doing it because of pressure it's getting, not because, they want to. No, not at all. So let's move on to our second point today. I think you guys are going to like this. Los Angeles innovative AI program is tackling homelessness. GE over Hawaii's new Intel laptop. So I think this is a very interesting thing that Los Angeles is doing this. But But how, I guess my question is, how is Los Angeles doing this new AI project to stop homelessness? And they're using AI to help prevent it. Many people, actually millions, struggle with housing affordability in Southern California and around the globe. But Los Angeles County experimental tool combines more than 400 factors to identify the residents most at risk of ending up on streets and its workings. So last June, there was a lady named Brianna Sanchez who was in trouble. She was behind on her rent, and her landlord in Los Angeles was threatening her family with eviction. But then she was thrown a lifeline, helped by an invisible algorithm. Ms. Sanchez's precarious situation had been detected by an artificial intelligence tool being used as part of an innovative experiment by Los Angeles County to identify residents at risk of losing their homes within 12 months. The tool analyzes more than 400 factors, as I said. It includes data from the county jail and hospitals, safety net programs, and homelessness and the foster care systems to create a list of 100,000 people deemed at risk of ending up on the streets. So city officials get to work to deliver counsel and even cash, hoping to stop more from ending up on the streets and becoming a statistic. Now, Ms. Sanchez got a letter urging her to contact a county department for housing help. Soon, she was talking to an outreach worker, getting signed up for health and other programs, and receiving financial assistance that helped her pay her rent, fix her car, and more. So this is an example of how technology is shaping lives. And I want to tell you that more than 653,000 people have experienced homelessness in the United States. That's just in 2023. That's a 12% increase over the previous year, according to the U.S. Housing and Urban Development report. So this is a good use of AI, and local officials are now able to find those in need with the new AI pilot as it's being used. And so this is a good use of artificial intelligence to actually help and try to protect people and save them from something that might be a little disastrous. So again, I think it's great that Los Angeles is doing it, but I think more states are going to do this, around our great country. So Apple is working on a new app. Do you guys know this? Yes. So Apple has an app already, but Apple is working on a new calculator app. And so they plan to release this new app for the iPad over 14 years after launching the device. And this is according to some people that know the research on it. So iPad OS 18 will include a built-in calculator app for all iPad models that are compatible with software updates. And it's expected to be unveiled during the opening keynote, of course you knew this, of Apple's annual developers conference on June 10th. Apple Insider said last week that Mac OS 15 will feature a revamped calculator app with a resizable window. The lack of an official calculator app on the iPad has been long a running issue on social media, and Apple just didn't seem to want to address it. But now they're going to roll out the first beta of the iPad OS 18, and it'll be interesting to see what people think about it. And we're just going to have to see, what really happens. But I think it's a step into the right direction. So people are asking, what new features will be on the Apple calculator app? Like, what new features are going to be on there? So the thing that's neat about this is that it's no longer a mini little program. It's a full app, like the full size of the screen, which I think is really, really cool. It's something that people have been yearning for. I mean, you have this whole tablet, but you can't take advantage of a powerful calculator. And so there are some new features planned. And things like they're going to have things like the tape being more manageable, like the digital tape. You know, they've been under pressure for this for a while. And we're going to have to just see, like, what's it going to do? But it's basically getting a major facelift is the best way to put it. And so as we wait for this app to come out, they claim that it's going to be easy. You're not going to have to go into menus to get certain features anymore. You're not going to have to go through drop-down menus. I think that's pretty cool. But the question is this app going to be a game changer for people? Or is it just some fad? I think, based on what I'm hearing, that it has a lot of potential. All right. The fact that we can have things like currency conversion, like right in there without having to go into drop-down menus like you had to do in the past. And it's going to be the full size of the screen. The full size of the screen. So people have asked, what will be new in the calculator app? The big thing is it's going to be a main screen. Okay. It's going to be very user-friendly in the sense that you have your buttons, you have your keypad, you have your line at the top for your entry and your output. It's going to be interesting. The new calculator app will have a new history tape feature, a refreshed design similar to the iPhone, and an updated unit conversion feature system, as I mentioned to you. So as far as the exact details of what we're going to see, that's not been released. But we do know that it's going to have the ability to basically take up the whole screen with the calculator app. So I think that's really cool. Just like, if I go to my iPhone and I type in calculator right now and I pull up calculator, you can see my calculator app. I'm very sure if you guys can see that app, but it's not really like an app. I mean, it's got buttons, but the way they're rumoring it to be, I'm just going to kind of give you guys a quick, see if I can give you a quick showing of what it's going to look like just for a second. And hopefully you'll get a little bit of an idea. And again, this is just a little bit of a preview. The preview is going to hopefully allow you to see that, it's something that we're going to have to just wait. But I love the fact, take a look at the screen here, guys. Take a look at how that's going to be. I mean, it's a lot different than what I showed you, and it really encompasses the whole screen. So I think it's going to be a great thing, and I hope people do embrace it because there's going to be a lot of potential for more productivity. All right, guys. I don't know if you know about this, but this is something that I think a lot of people have been talking about. And it's the fact that the Tesla Cybertruck is being recalled due to faulty pedals. I mean, this is terrible. Tesla recall due to faulty pedals. I mean, it sounds so ridiculous. So last week, just at the end, they were saying it was around 3870 something. It's now nearly 4,000 Cybertrucks due to faulty accelerator pedals. So I don't think we really have a true number. We don't know. This number could be going up every single day. And I have to tell you, I'm not really impressed with the way the Tesla Cybertruck looks. People ask me every day, John, so what is the cost of a Tesla Cybertruck? Yeah. What is the cost of a Tesla Cybertruck? Well, the thing with the Tesla Cybertruck is you can get in the Tesla Cybertruck basically for around $81,000. Okay? That's with they call it the dual motor. Of course, they have a single motor, which we'll get into in a minute, and then they also have the Beast, which is $101,000. So, what is the cost of a Tesla Cybertruck single motor? Well, that's going to be much more affordable, and the single motor is going to be $39,000. And then they have some other versions of it, like they have a basically a $60,000 model as well. Okay. And so interesting, but I just don't like its design. It looks like something that would be in some space movie. Does that make sense? And you might be saying, John, I don't really know, like, if that's a truck that I should even be getting. I just don't like the way it looks. Like, why would I even want a truck like that? Like, why? That's my question. And I think the reason why I'd want a truck like that is because it's different. It is different. And if it's different, then what does that mean to you? I think what it means is that it's going to get a lot of attention. Okay? It's going to get a lot of attention. And so we just have to see what's going to happen. And you might be saying, you know, why did Tesla, I mean, this is a good question. Why did Tesla come out with a Cybertruck? It's a battery electric medium duty full size pickup truck vehicle, and then they have other versions like the dual motor, and then they have the Beast, which is like the $100,000. But I really don't want to put any of my money into a vehicle that has been so haphazardly built. We've seen so many challenges with Tesla. I used to think I wanted Tesla. I quickly changed my mind when I learned about a friend of mine that nearly had to fight for his life to get out of his car. All right. In other important news, which I'm sure you guys are going to want to definitely know about, if you get a call from Lastpass, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a call, yes, if you get a call from Lastpass, hang up. It's a phishing scam. And it combines a fake email and a human caller pretending to be a Lastpass employee. Lastpass has said just recently the attackers continue to try and phish users of the password manager. And the bad actors behind the crypto chameleon phishing are continuing their campaign under a new IP address. So be very weary of this. Lastpass also adds, for your own knowledge, and I quote, ignore any unsolicited or unprompted incoming phone calls, automated or with a live individual, or text claim to be from Lastpass related to a recent attempt to change your password and or account information. These are part of an ongoing phishing campaign. My tip would be, if this happens, close out of what you're in, close your browser, clear your cookies, and go back to lastpass.com and log in and go from there. If you do see this activity and are concerned you may have been compromised, you can contact Lastpass at abuse@lastpass.com. All right. So I think we just have to be cognizant of what's going on and know that there are a lot of bad actors out there. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, they just will stop at nothing. Nothing. So again, I'm going to say this one more time. If you get a phone call, if you get some type of an automated message or a text from Lastpass, hang up, say goodbye. And new updates on AirPlay will support in hotels by Apple. So what's this about? Yes, so Apple will now start supporting AirPlay in hotels. So we know how AirPlay works in the car if you use AirPlay. Your iPhone's AirPlay feature will connect to the TV and at select hotels through the United States, Canada, and Mexico. and be able to use all the AirPlay features that you are familiar with in your car. So there are lots of hotels that have signed up. There are more that are coming on board. Now, here's the kicker. Although Apple previously said AirPlay in hotels would arrive by the end of 2023, it ended up pushing back its launch until this year. The feature finally popped up only because of the release of iOS 17.3. Thus, if you do not have 17.3, you will not be able to use and take advantage of AirPlay at your hotels. So right now, AirPlay is supported at IHG hotels, Holiday Inn, Candlewood Suites, Avid Hotels in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But Apple says it will add many more locations in the coming months. If you're wondering whether you can get to use AirPlay during your next vacation, you can check out the full list of supported hotels from the IHG website. And if you are wondering what the heck is that, so yes, IHG International Hotels Group. These are things like Six Senses, Regent, Intercontinental Hotels and Resorts, Vignette Collection, Kimpton, Hotel Indigo, Voco, Hulex, Crown Plaza, Herbostar, Even, Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn, Gardner, Avid, Atwell Suites, Staybridge Suites, Holiday Inn Club Vacations, Candlewood Suites. And again, so you can check those all out. But this is definitely a new feature. And a lot of people have things on their phone and they want to be able to use them. Well, now you will be able to do that. And here's some interesting but sad news. If you use Discord, stop it. I mean it. Stop using Discord. Your information is being tracked. Yeah, so Discord users are being tracked. A third-party surveillance tool now claims it's tracking millions of Discord users across servers, and this is a serious problem. And compared to other messaging apps like Instagram or Snapchat, Discord has historically allowed bots and third-party tools to meander their platform. I think that's a big problem. Having this is a big issue. And I got to tell you, they have something called SpyPet, uses bots to scrape servers, and it says it currently tracks over 627 million Discord user accounts, more than 14,200 Discord servers, and has grabbed over 4 billion messages. I don't think I want to be on Discord at all. Of course, they're investigating the matter and things like that, but I just don't feel that they're really a safe place to play and really share any messages. So we'll have to see what's going on, but if you're using Discord, my recommendation is to stop it. Use a secure messaging protocol. You can use things like Slack, and Slack does encrypt the messages. And those are servers that basically are run by companies that put a lot more into security than Discord. Plus, there's a lot of bad actors that hang out on Discord just because they're able to access so much stuff. Now, you might be asking a dumb question, but I'm happy to answer for you. Why are there so many hackers on Discord and not other platforms? Well, they're exploiting some of Slack, okay, but not all of it. Not all of it, okay? This is why it's important to have your messages encrypted and things like that. So the question you might ask is and it's a very good question, is Slack more secure than Discord? So this has been a debate that's going on for a very long time, whether you work from home or you just need a quick and easy way to communicate. Discord and Slack are two tools you probably came across. And so Discord and Slack are great communication apps for both small and large teams. Discord is more affordable and somewhat easier to use, and it's oriented toward casual users and gamers. Slack is more expensive if you want to make the most of it, but also offers more features and excellent customer support. So when we look at both apps, there are some things we have to take advantage and review. feature set, pricing plans, and then also understand how the user interface works. And that's it. But more hackers are attacking Discord than Slack. Why? So they're trying to serve up malware. That's number one. And so what you have to make sure of, and I always said this before, it's not a question of if, but when, if you're not properly protected. So definitely make sure that that is a key on your list, to make sure you have software that not only protects against malware, antiviruses, but also will combat things like ransomware, and also should have sandboxing as well. So our friends over at Boston Dynamics, wow, jaw-dropping Atlas robot release. This is really, really cool, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the new Boston releases the new Atlas robot. And this new Atlas robot is really cool because, first of all, they have 86'd the hydraulics, and they've made this a full-on electric machine. It's called an electric version of its humanoid machine, and the Atlas robot is designed to be of a far greater range of motion and movement than its predecessor. Now, Boston Dynamics wants the new version to show that Atlas can keep a humanoid form without limiting how a bipedal robot can move. And so the thing about this is that Boston Dynamics is working on tasks that humans would be working on, and they're really putting them to the test. They test them with small groups of customers. They're starting with Hyundai and some other companies. They're moving on to companies like BMW and Mercedes. But I think it's important not just to have a robot, but to have a robot that is going to be reliable, is going to be functional, and is going to grow. I mean, I think that's a thing. I definitely like the Atlas robot, to be honest with you, better than the other robots. I feel that the other robots, first of all, the ones that you see with the six-legged, I mean, just to watch the Boston Dynamics robot, which is the Atlas, get up, I mean, it's pretty remarkable to see how it just can pivot its legs and just move itself all around and be that agile for whatever environment that it's in. So I think that's definitely a cool thing, and I think definitely a kudos goes off to all the engineers and the development team and R&D people at Boston Dynamics. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on there, but that's really a good accomplishment for them, and kudos to them. So Apple is contemplating on building an AI robot. Why? They gave up on the car, the EV car. They gave up on it. So Apple is deciding to build an AI robot. And they want to develop an AI robot for your home. And their whole premise of this is to give you new potential in products for home robotics. And so, as we know, the iPhone maker is going to hopefully make some strides with this because, you know, they were kind of limited. They didn't really have a lot of home products. And this could take Apple down an entirely new way with lots of endless potential for trajectories in very positive ways. We're going to have to see where they're going with it. And the question you might be asking is, why is Apple building an AI robot? Why? Well, they want to get in the home robotics market. They also want to have the very first robot butler. But the thing about Apple is that everything has to be in that Apple way. You have to log in, the screen. Like, I just hate the whole kind of setup with Apple. So if they develop a robot, you're probably going to have to, you'll have like the iOS app operating system. You're probably going to get it. You're probably going to have to connect it to your phone or do some stupid thing like that. Apple makes things more complicated than they need to be. And I find that a lot of people get pushed away from Apple, but there are some people that still use Apple because they feel that they're the cutting edge. I don't know if they're cutting edge. I know that they're really trying. Just like companies like Intel were always at the leader of the field, Intel's fighting just to be able to stay, current. So this is definitely a challenge as we move forward with lots of new technology. And Lenovo's got a great secret. Yes, I don't know if you guys know this. Lenovo, the computer company, has secretly, or should I say quietly, been working on a robot. Yes, Lenovo has been quietly working on a robot. And I think it's interesting, okay? We know that in 2024, around January, they made a tiny little robot that sits in your laptop like a webcam, okay? But then they kind of stopped them. But Lenovo has secretly been working on, they call it a daystar. So they're quietly releasing a robot with 6 legs. This is pretty incredible. Many people who haven't seen this or the Boston Dynamics robot Spot perform tricks like going up and down stairs probably say this is a waste of time. But you don't realize how much goes into this. And I really believe that this robot they're building is similar to the Spot robot, but I don't know if it's exactly the same. Remember, it can't be. It looks like there are some differences, and obviously it can look similar, which is okay. And we always say 6 legs are better than 4. So now Spot isn't the only industrial robot animal in town. It has competition from its new source, Lenovo. The Chinese manufacturer isn't calling its creation a dog. It's added an additional pair of legs to further distance itself from Boston Dynamics robot canines, but it's hard not to draw comparisons. So Spot has 4 legs and this has 6. So they're trying to make it different. They're trying to compete with the applications that Spot was doing. Lenovo also says that they want to boost advanced control, cutting-edge perception algorithms, and IP66. So what is IP66? So IP66 is it's a rating level, okay? Basically, protection against powerful water jets, water projected by powerful jets at 12.5 millimeters or 0.49 inches against the enclosure. Duration of 1 minute per square meter for at least 3 minutes. Water pressure can actually take about 15 pounds per square inch, and water volume can be 100 liters per minute. So that's what IP66 does. We're going to have to see. It's just interesting how this robot has come on the scene, and it really seems like it's going to give Spot a run for its money. I don't know that, but I just feel like it's going down that same alleyway. So we'll have to see what's happening. But again, it's a robot that's patented, and it's very different than Spot. But again, when we look at it, we think like it's like a cousin of Spot, but it's not. It has 6 legs instead of 4. So we'll have to see that. And who knows? Lenovo might be getting more into AI. A lot of companies, don't be surprised if they change their position, just like Apple's deciding to build an AI robot. Why? Because they know that it's going to be a big moneymaker. They know everyone in the industry is going to do that. That's why. All right. Moving on, guys, which is some other great topics here. Insightful tips on security and psychological safety. So I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the most important things when we talk about, technology is going to be psychological safety for security teams. So what is psychological safety for security teams? Like, what the heck is that? I don't even know what the heck that is. This is a term that refers to whether people feel safe enough to respond. For example, if you make a mistake on a team, it's not held against you. Members of a team are able to bring up problems and tough issues and discuss them. People on the team accept that people are different, but they're all inclusive. They accept and respect everyone. It's safe to take a risk on the team. It isn't difficult to ask other members for help on the team. And no one on the team would directly harm you or do anything that would undermine your efforts or make you feel inferior. Working with members of this kind of team will just help you enhance your skills and talents and allow other people to grow theirs and for each of you to become more valued toward each other. So I think those are pretty interesting things. Now, let's move on to another topic, which is the Dutch government potential halt on using Facebook for security reasons. Did you know that? So the Dutch halt Facebook for security. And they're saying that they may stop using it because they frankly don't trust it. They issued a statement not too long ago advising the government not to use Facebook pages if it doesn't get clarity on privacy risks associated with using the platform. The Dutch Minister for Digitalization, Alexandra van Huffelen, said the government will be forced to stop using Facebook pages if it doesn't get clarity as soon as possible. So the DPA, or the Dutch Data Protection Authority, issued a statement advising the Dutch Interior Ministry not to rely on Facebook pages to communicate with citizens if it does have a clear idea of how Facebook uses the personal data of people who visit government pages. So if they don't have that, they're going to stop doing it. And the government wants clarity from Meta as soon as possible, or they're going to say bye-bye to Facebook. And I think it's going to be a lot of other companies. It's not just going to be the Dutch, but we always seem to get pushback from other countries first, but not our own country. So I think it's interesting that this is happening. And I think we just have to be understanding of, what's actually going on. And what's going on is that people have to realize that technology operates in a certain world, but how does it operate? And do we trust it? Okay. Does that make sense? And I think people that want to use technology feel that it's safe, but they have to realize it may not be. Just because it's a big company doesn't mean that they're going to have the safety that they should in place to make sure that you're covering yourself. They're just out to make a buck. I mean, let's just be honest, until they get fined. And I got some big concerns, ladies and gentlemen. Concerns over the dominance of a single $1 trillion company who has control. Many people don't like that this single $1 trillion company has too much control. And it's a growing problem. The one I'm talking about, you probably know, Meta. They control things like WhatsApp, Instagram, right? Facebook. I think when a company like that has too much dominance, okay, it's a problem. Now we've got the next $1 trillion companies that are coming up the pike pretty soon. More than $1 trillion, household names, Apple, Microsoft. And so I don't have a problem that they own something. I have a problem with how they're responding to the needs of the people in our world and how they are choosing to respect others in the world. I think that's the biggest thing I have a problem with. And they don't seem to get it. And they're probably never going to get it. They just won't get it. I know you're probably saying to me, John, we shouldn't be so picky, but it's important to understand and know that a company like Meta that could make the decisions like, what gets put on a page, or if you criticize them, they take it down. Like, it's almost like blackmail. That's the best way to say it. And so what I always tell people is, don't rely on one company to be your all in, because that one company could shut you down. Now, of course, it's not legal, but while you're fighting to get that back up, you don't want to lose your business. You don't want to lose your content, your communication. So don't trust any one of these platforms solely. Have other ways to communicate people. That's the big advice I have for you today. Very big advice that I have for you. And I think the more people appreciate this, the more you're going to understand what's going on. But when a company gets too much control, and they can't provide a phone number, I mean, let's think about these other companies, like, whether we're talking Microsoft. Now, Microsoft has phone numbers, but all these companies have a way they want to operate. And if you don't like the way they want to operate, it's like, too bad. I mean, it's really terrible. So I feel like there's got to be more checks and balances in place. And I frankly just do not trust them. I don't. Sorry. All right. You're probably wondering, like, why? And it's because they have been shown in the past to do the wrong things. Single $1 trillion company, Meta, is a problem. It's a problem because of what they control. Okay? They control Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and WhatsApp. Threads is new. And digital ownership can create real-world harm. Issues with recent censorship dispute with Meta Lays Bear. Meta had apologized after blocking links by a nonprofit newspaper and independent journalists who published a report that criticized Facebook and accused it of suppressing posts related to climate change. Meta, of course, denied that it was censoring the content. Every single link about 6,000 stories that the Kansas Reflector had ever posted to Facebook disappeared from the platform recently. For 7 hours, anyone trying to post a Reflector link was met with a warning that the site posed a security risk. That's 7 hours during which the Reflector staff had no idea why Meta, a tech giant, could ignore them. And given its grip on the world's most popular social sites, had blown up not only years worth of digital labor, but also the credibility of local newspapers. So this is terrible. And some things, they do what they want. And sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. But I don't think it should be like this. I feel that these companies shouldn't be so much into censorship if it's not harming anyone, right? We saw what happened with the kids that, took their lives, and I want to reiterate that story, right? So many kids on Facebook killed themselves because of security. That's terrible. Teens died because of Facebook's issues. And they died by suicide. They committed themselves. There was one kid known as CJ to his friends and family. He was 14 years old when he signed up for Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Like many teenagers, he documented his life on those platforms. CJ worked as a busboy at Texas Roadhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He loved playing golf, watching Doctor Who, and was highly sought after by top-tier colleges. his counselor said he could get a free ride anywhere he wanted to go. His mother told the news during a recent interview at the family home that he was excited about this. But throughout his high school, he developed what his parents felt was an addiction to social media. By his senior year, he couldn't stop looking at his phone. He often stayed up till 3 a.m. on Instagram, messaging with others, sometimes swapping photos of unclothed people. He became sleep deprived and obsessed with his body image. While the family was taking down their Christmas tree and decorations, CJ had retreated to his home in 2015. He sent a text message to his best friend and posted an update on his Facebook page, who turned out the light. CJ held a .22 caliber rifle in one hand, his smartphone in the other, and fatally shot himself. He was only 17. Police found a suicide note written on the envelope of a college acceptance letter. His parents said he never showed outward signs of depression or suicidal ideation. Quote, when we found him, his phone was still on, still in his hand with blood on it. His mom said he was so addicted to it that even his last moments of his life were about posting on social media. This is just beyond words. And I don't have really anything to say to you other than social media is not a replacement for life, for family, for friends. But many people make it that. They try to become something or live a different life. But when it begins to be too over, it's a problem. And so what I want to share with you here is that companies like we just mentioned, Meta, with a single $1 trillion company having control and not doing one thing to protect these people, I hold them responsible, not the kid. I hold Facebook responsible for the fact that they allowed this behavior to happen and did absolutely nothing. You know why? Because they didn't want to spend any money. That's the reason, guys. That's the sole reason that they didn't want to do anything. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen. But they're just a big conglomerate of people that are about the buck. They don't care about your life, my life, or anyone else's life. They care about the dollar. That's all they care about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing privilege and pleasure to be with you tonight here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. And as we close out tonight, I want to let you know that technology is always emerging. And I've said this before, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a gun, whether it's a tool, a laptop, a knife, a scissor, anything. They can be used for good and they can be used for bad. It's not what it is that makes it good or bad. It's how it's actually used. So let's think about that. And I want to go back to something before I close tonight from Dr. Nuccitelli. He has this amazing thing that I want to share with you. And it's called odor. And he came up with this, and it comes up with this. It's called odor. And basically what it stands for is this: offline distress, okay, dictates online response. And I feel that some people don't realize the connection between the offline world and the online world. It's really critical. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night, an amazing rest of your weekend. I'm definitely going to be back next week, which is going to be our first show for the month of May. Incidentally, if you would like to be a guest on the JMOR Tech Talk Show, go ahead and message me below the video wherever you see it. Let me know who you are, what you'd like to talk about. I'll send you a private link so you can have a pre-chat with me, and we'll see if you'd be a good fit for the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I really find it to be more than a privilege and an honor to share with you insights that you can choose to pay attention to and apply to your life that can actually shape it for one that'll be much better, much safer, and of course, much more enjoyable. Remember, everyone, life is meant to be lived. So let's start living it. Let's start enjoying it. Let's start getting curious with all the many things in our world. Let's start conversations with people, because when we do that, they're actually going to cause us to dig into our mind, to learn about ourselves, things that we didn't even know existed, and may bring out a side of ourselves that we never would have seen or discovered. I hope that you guys have an amazing, like I said, rest of your night and rest of your weekend. And be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And just to let you know, within 24 hours of the show, this will be uploaded to the JMOR Tech Talk Show.podbean.com, and you'll be able to catch this on Apple and all the many other podcast networks. So definitely check out, ladies and gentlemen, BelieveMeAchieve.com, just like it says on my hat. Just show you there. So it says BelieveMeAchieve.com. That is believe. It'll come around again. Believe me achieve.com. And I'm going to catch you guys next Friday. So have yourself an amazing rest of your weekend. And I'll catch you real soon. All right, everyone?